Have you ever seen the college triangle that lists sleep, social life, and good grades, and then tells you to choose two? Don't be that student who listens to that. Figure out how much time it takes for each, and plan a schedule to balance your life so you don't burn out before you hit 120 credit hours. Let's talk it through here on Metalhead Mentor. Hello there, and welcome to Metalhead Mentor. I am your host and assistant professor of the dark arts, Tony. In this episode, we'll be discussing how much time you need for a college class, starting with what a credit hour is, and include some helpful tips to keep you from screaming, "If I tell you what I'm doing today, will you shut up and get out of my way?" At most colleges, each course is assigned a certain number of credit hours you earn towards your degree, usually adding up to 120 for a bachelor's degree. Students often view these credit hours as points towards leveling up, but the term credit hours is very literal because it tells you how much time on average you should expect to commit to that class each week. In college, you should be learning a lot from your class time with your instructor, but you should also be doing a lot of learning outside of your class time, including a lot of reading, writing, researching, or completing projects. There's no way to effectively fit all of those learning activities inside your class time, so a good deal of it happens outside of the classroom. When you look at the number of credit hours for a course, remember that it only shows the expected class time per week, not all the time you'll need for the class. Now, that doesn't mean that the number of credit hours can't tell you how much time you will likely spend on a class. The basic calculation that many colleges use is that 1 credit hour is equal to 1 hour in class and 2 to 3 hours of work outside of class. That means, for example, if you have, say, a 3 credit hour course, you will likely spend 3 hours in class a week with an additional 6 to 9 hours of work outside of the class, preparing, studying, or working on assignments. Based on this calculation, you could see why it is that 12 credit hours is considered the minimum load for full-time study at a college, because that equals 12 hours of class per week, and 24 to 36 hours outside of class for a total of 36 to 48 hours expected per week on your college classes alone. For the 15 credit hours per semester minimum that you need in order to complete a bachelor's degree in 4 years, you would need to take 15 credit hours. That's 15 hours in class, 30 to 45 hours of work outside of class, for a total of 45 to 60 hours per week on your college classes alone. By comparison, most jobs classify employees who work more than 32 hours per week as full-time, and workers start earning overtime after 40 hours per week. For work that you're usually paying to do, full-time college schedules can be brutal. The modality or format of the course you're taking can shift these estimates heavily. The calculation of 3 credit hours equaling 3 hours of class time and 6 to 9 hours of outside work holds true for fully face-to-face or live online classes. In a blended or hybrid course, though, half of your class time might be in the form of online activities, so the calculation would change to 1.5 hours of class time and 7.5 to 10.5 hours of outside work for the same 3 credit hour course. During shorter terms, like summer or Maymester, calculations shift yet again. The time estimates for credit hours are based on traditional 16-week long semesters. So when you're taking an abbreviated 5-week summer course, make sure to triple the amount of time you expect to spend on the course per week, because the course is 1/3 the length with all the same content and expectations. For example, A former student of mine worked a full-time job during night shift and then came to campus during the day for his 6-credit-hour course schedule. He handled the schedule just fine during the long semesters, but then he tried to take 2 5-week summer classes in the same term, which tripled his workload for school. When I ran into him on campus during that summer, he looked like Gene Simmons done up for a Kiss concert. Within that 2 to 3 hour per credit hour estimate spent on outside work for a course, there can be a lot of variability. Students' differing levels of ability with the material or tasks can mean some students complete their work super fast, while others will struggle to complete it at all. Even your environment can help or hinder your ability to get through your homework fast, which is why you should have a few places picked out around campus to do your homework, just in case the neighbors get rowdy while you're studying, like my neighbors in the dorm freshman year. The course discipline can also make a difference, with labs and science courses often requiring much more time than the number of credit hours suggests. It may not sound like a lot of time on the front end, but you'll be singing a different tune when checking on your cell cultures in your biology lab at 2 o'clock in the morning. The course level can also create a lot of time variation as well. Lower level courses, generally listed as 1,000 or 2,000 level courses, usually expect less outside work per week than 3,000 or 4,000 level courses, where you might be conducting research or organizing your senior project. In other words, your junior and senior years are not the time to double up on jobs outside of school or to take an extra course just because. If you're a junior or senior now, or you've already graduated, comment below with your major, how much time you spend working on each class per week, and your favorite place to study outside your room on campus. Knowing how to calculate expected time commitment for a course can help you plan your schedule, whether you're deciding to take on an extra course this semester, thinking about picking up a job on campus, or planning to try out for the theater department's main stage production. For any major commitments of time that you'd make, try blocking out a schedule that lists all the times when you'll handle each commitment. This ensures you give enough priority to the time you'll need to study and work on your classes, meaning you're less likely to fall behind. It will help you check that you've accounted for everything you need, like time to get between class and work, and time to eat and shower. No one wants to room with the guy who hasn't showered in 2 weeks because his rehearsals for the dance recital took up the only time he had left in his schedule. Remember, your main priority in college should be on getting good grades, but you need sleep and a social life, or you'll turn into a zombie and burn out. Whatever you do, don't overload yourself with classes beyond what you can handle. Most colleges set a limit of 18 to 21 credit hours per semester for students, and while a select few can handle those maximums, most students would find themselves floundering. One of my friends in college often took 18 credit hours per semester and handled them with ease because she had the organizational skills to keep herself on track. Meanwhile, I handled 16 credit hours most semesters, and I managed well enough until the end of the semester, when I always ended up pulling all-nighters to catch up on assignments and studying. If you've already been in college for a while, what's the largest number of credit hours you've completed in one semester, and how did you feel about it? Comment below. If you are spending significantly more time on a course than the number of credit hours would suggest, you might want to reach out to your classmates and see if they're having the same experience as you are. If so, it may just be a harder course than those time estimates suggest. If not, you may want to talk to the instructor and see if you're in fact doing more than you should be for the course. If I had a nickel for every time a student came to me saying they were working too much on the course, only to find out they misunderstood an assignment completely and spent way too much time on it, I would have a couple bucks, which isn't a lot, but it's frustrating to know these are probably just a fraction of the students who put in more work than I expected. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Metalhead Mentor. If you haven't already, smash those like, subscribe, and share buttons below to spread the word and earn some extra credit. But maybe not credit hours. And don't forget to do your take-home torture by blocking out your schedule with your classes, your study time for each, and any other commitments you have on your time. Next episode, we'll be discussing how to engage with the most unpredictable and elusive creature in the college ecosystem, your professor.